Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, late night. We haven't done this in months and months and months. It's been such a long time since I've streamed this late at night, but opportunity presented itself. And we just had a really good and a really fun watch party over on my good buddy Steven's channel, Craving Something Scary. And now we're going to be here hanging out for a little bit, chilling out with you guys. Definitely wanted to get some of your insights on the latest and greatest horror news, maybe talk about some upcoming films and so forth. And Stephen will also be with us here as well, so we might have some more surprises. Real quick too, just to say hey to everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. We got Gina stopping by. We got Super Tenor. What's going on? What's going on? Troy, what's up? Saying good night. Hello. All right. Paula, we will catch you later. Thank you for hanging out with us on Steven's channel. Very, very cool. Chrissy, what's going on? Good to see you. All right. Let's see. Who else do we have? And we got my good buddy Eric's in the chat. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Saying, hope everyone is doing well, staying warm. Enjoy this late night edition, everyone. We'll talk soon, my man. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Hope you're doing well and have a good night. All right. And let's see who else. Ramona. Good to see you, Ramona. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you over here. Scott, what's going on? We got Matt. Matt's in the chat. I'm glad we're on the countdown. I was getting tired. A cool down. I was getting tired. Oh, okay. There you go. Oh my God. Too funny. You a fan of the original Maniac? Heck yeah, man. It's a classic. We talked about that. Now it's been a very long time ago, probably like a year and a half ago on Slasher Movie Club. Definitely a slasher classic from way back in the day. Way back in the day. Yeah, Night After Hours. That's kind of what it is. Yeah, Matt. Usually I am working tonight. Um, my schedule was a little bit different. So I just figured, hey, I'm gonna be around. Might as well just jump on here, see what you guys are up to, and hang out for a little bit. Let's see. He said I watched both Invasion of the Body Snatchers last night, by the way. Yeah, man, classic stuff. We had an amazing episode on Tuesday night for Battle World where we had the Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978 versus John Carpenter's The Thing, and it was really, really good. I mean, both movies are fantastic as far as being sci-fi horror. What's up, Maga? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Um, and yeah, we had a great time on Tuesday night. We're gonna have an amazing time also this Friday. We're going to be back with our Friday night series, The Watchers Live. So we hope you guys can join us. We're going to have Sarah will be on the panel with us, Coriander, of course. We're going to have JT from Sinister Artworks, and Steven will be with us as well if he can jump in. And we've been having a blast these last couple of weeks. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying our Friday night episodes. And what we've been trying to do with the Friday night episode is trying to make it much more of a like a party atmosphere. We've been doing on the spot rankings live and just having a blast. A lot of good laughs. A lot of good laughs. It's been so much fun. So if you have not been with us on Friday nights, definitely plan to be with us. We're going to be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and we've got the stream up right now. So if you could give it a like, give it a like. Let's see, we got a couple other people jumping in. Definitely a blanket hello to you guys jumping in. We got Ginger Ninja. What's up, bro? Good to have you on here. We just had a really amazing members watch party of the Lost Boys this past Sunday, and Ginger Ninja was up with us on the panel, and that was really cool. The Lost Boys, by the way, man, hey, look, I'm going to be honest, man. I've been listening to the soundtrack on my Spotify. It's been great. Not that I don't usually, but I definitely was in the mood to like listen to it a lot more after our watch party. Troy saying Night is the thing poster in the background, the painting. If so, you're right. It's spot on. No, this is actually, I should say, this is actually the movie poster. But I've got this amazing painting. I'd love to show it to you guys, but I can't right now. But I've got this amazing painting of the poster from our good friend Eric, the mayor from the Bearded Entertainment, and it looks amazing. It's spot on too. It's spot on. You see it in some of my videos and live streams. For the Friday Night Watchers live, I'll have it in the background for that one, but it's amazing, man. I can't I I'm still choked up about it because it was it was a present. So I definitely, yeah, it's amazing. And he knows I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You guys know Carpenter is one of my favorite directors of all time, which by the way, again, and now it's a late happy birthday, but he had his birthday just yesterday, and that was really cool. So when we had Battle World, it was neat having one of his movies in the battle. One of his best movies, in my opinion. You know, Nanette, what is up? Good to see you. All right, I'm watching, but I'm editing, so I'll not be able to talk much. But hello. Well, we're glad to have you here. Hope you're doing well. Nice to have you. Dominic is in the house. What's up, bro? Good to see you. One of our longtime subscribers, also one of our longtime Patreon. And we appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well, bro. And yeah, Ginger Ninja, The Lost Boys, it is timeless. It is absolutely timeless. Um, when we were watching that movie, man, it's funny because when we do watch parties, a lot of times, there's so much to say, and to kind of remind people about, different stories or connections that you have with a movie. And it's funny because with The Lost Boys, there was just so much that was just going on. I was just trying to absorb it all. It's just such a good movie, man. It really, really is. Love it. Love it so much. And if you guys have not seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, you definitely got to watch it, man. You got to watch it. All right. Well, hey, we got a knock on the door, so let's bring in my special friend, my brother from the Lethal Collective. And hey, I was just on his channel, so this was really cool to have a channel hop, which we haven't done a late night one like this in so long. We used to do this all the time. But anyways, let me bring him on. It's my good buddy Steven from Craven Something Scary. What's up?
Hey, Night. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Good. It's good to be back together. Literally just minutes ago,
Yes,
hanging out,
yes,
watching dangerous game. Excuse me, dangerous game.
that's right. That's
And
right, man. It was great.
yeah, it's fun to do one of these swaps, like you say, this late night swap. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were on it's funny too, because, for a lot of these guys in the chat, a lot of these guys are a little bit newer
True.
to our community. I mean, Ginger Ninja's been around for a while, Matt, Dominic, Nanette, those guys. Um, but we used to have these late night swaps and late night watch parties. There was a couple times we did spur of the moment. Hey, let's do a watch party. Okay, let's do it right now.
That's
And
right.
those were so much fun, man. I really miss
Yep.
doing those. I think that we were able to, connect to a lot of the late night folks, people that are
Yes.
up late, and that was fun. I miss those a lot, man. But speaking of which, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Steven here. If you are interested, which hopefully you are, we have a playlist of watch parties that we've done. I've got some here on my channel. Steven's got some on his channel. So definitely check those out. If you're ever bored and if you ever feel like you want to have some people to hang around with, you can put on one of our watch party live streams, watch the movie, and it'll be like we're watching it all together. Because man, we've
Yep.
had some good laughs, man.
So good. Timeless. Like I said, I'm talking about timeless, man.
Yeah, yeah,
They never get
yes.
old.
It doesn't. And you guys, fans of the Lost Boys, absolutely, man. I was just saying before you came on, Steven, I was
Mhm.
just listening to the soundtrack on my Spotify, a couple times this
Yeah.
week,
Yeah, man.
you know. So love it, love it.
I still
Um,
believe.
I, that's right.
It's a great song.
It is, man. I still believe. All
Yep.
right. Um, Mary, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Saying hey night, hey, everyone. Hope you're all good. Great to have you here. And
Yeah.
my man Dominic is starting off quick. Now, Stephen and I know you've heard about this, and obviously you've had a
Mhm.
chance to talk with the fantastic Dwight Little. By the way, if you
Yes.
guys have not seen Stephen's interview with the great Dwight Little, definitely check it out on his channel. It was a fantastic interview, and
Aw,
I really
thanks.
enjoyed, just the conversation, the questions you had for him. He's a really cool guy.
Very cool guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you've
So
heard about the whole idea that he, pitched his idea for
mhm.
Halloween 4 Part 2.
Yep.
We all know that Danielle Harris has been lobbying for this for a while. She was on, I think it was comicbook.com, a podcast where she really got deep into it. I know when Coriander and I went to Terracon, um, a couple months ago, and by the way, that was so much fun. I mean, I was able to hug Danielle Harris, man. That was awesome.
It's
And
crazy.
but we had asked her, I said to her, I said, "Look, I know you want to do another Halloween. What's up? Is Malik gonna let this thing happen or whatever?" But of course, it was during the strike. So she was super cryptic and said, "Well, I can't really say much of anything right now." She said,
Mhm.
"But I obviously would love to be back in the franchise." And that's pretty much all she could tell me. But, anyways,
Yeah, man.
it's crazy, hearing about these possibilities. But Dominic
True.
saying Halloween 4 can work, but Jamie must be the shape in the sequel instead of Michael, because at the end of Halloween 4, she stabs her stepmom, stands on the stairs with the scissors in her hand. What do you think about that, Stephen? If they were to do this Halloween 4 Part 2, what do you see as possibly what the story could be or what you'd want it to be?
All right, so for me, I understand the logic behind that,
Mm-hmm.
but I would not personally want to see that,
Mm-hmm.
for me. So
Mm-hmm.
what I would rather see is because obviously we're going to be fast forwarding what 30 years, whatever it is, yeah,
Right.
roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would rather see is Jamie either being released from a mental health facility,
Mm-hmm.
like after all these years, she's returned to normalcy. And basically they blame like they without getting too much in the weeds here, but they justify her, not justify, they explain
Mm-hmm.
what she did with the scissors by saying basically it was the intense fear of she was under from Michael Myers, the pressure, the fear, all this caved. It was too much for her to process it,
Yeah.
and she acted out basically in some way. That's a short version.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so after over time, they've like, you know what, she's no threat. She's completely back to normal again, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So she's released, and she's but all throughout these years, Rachel has been in constant touch with her, visiting her, being a present, being a light in her life.
Mm-hmm.
So their relationship is super strong, like it's still. And what I'd like to see is as adults now, they're together. Rachel's helping Jamie get back to the workforce, back to getting her off of her own feet. Maybe she's taking her in,
Mhm.
helping her
Okay.
get, what I mean? Like, come stay with me as we work on helping you get independent.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, because the shape doesn't need, we don't need any real reason to say where the shape is or why is he back now. Because Michael Myers is Michael Myers, man.
That's right.
He's gonna come back whenever he feels like it.
That's
So
right.
that's not an issue for me. I don't have any issue with like trying to say, how do you justify that? No, you don't.
Mhm.
Michael Myers just shows up and that's okay. And that's what I would want to see, man. I'd like to see that. And then he's back, and then I haven't worked out a whole plot, but that's an outline, at least a basic outline.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd have to really think more about it to fill in all some more details. But
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to see, man, personally,
Yeah.
if they
No,
go
I,
that route.
I like that. I mean, I think at the heart of it, the main thing is that we have Jamie Lloyd back. She's
Hmm.
obviously older. She's been able to deal with the demons to some degree. Now maybe
Yeah,
this might be a similar thing like with Sam in Scream.
true.
Maybe there's gonna be some tug of war, so to speak, which could be interesting. That'll give Danielle a lot to work with. But I have to agree, I don't think having her as the shape would work.
Yeah,
Um, because I just don't here's the biggest reason, and Dominic, let me know what you think, brother. Here's one of the biggest reasons why, and this kind of dovetails into my cautious nature about them doing a Halloween 4 part 2. Now, don't get me
hmm,
wrong, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Dwight. I'd love to see Danielle and
yeah,
Ellie. There's no
yep.
doubt. So I'm on board, but the cautious side of me is looking at, well, if they do this, there's going to be a huge group of people that are not going to know what's going on. They're going to be like,
Mm,
wait a minute, who? Jamie who? Jamie what? Now, for all of us that are fans, the horror community, we're ride or die, for these sequels, in one way or the other. And a lot of us are big fans of Halloween 4 specifically and of the character of Jamie Lloyd. But you got to think about the fact that that's a small percentage of the movie going audience. We're the small percentage, we're the
right.
minority. So I'm thinking, number one, if they do this, it's going to be a tall task regardless, because people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute, Michael's dead. Okay, wait a minute. This isn't Laurie. Wait a minute. Who is this? And of course,
Right.
Danielle is 30 something years older now. So
Hmm.
there's going to be tons of confusion already. And if you don't have Michael as the shape and it's Jamie, that's going to be even more confusing, just in my opinion. Now, as we always say, execution is everything. But I don't know, Dominic, man, you're going to have to let me know how you could make it work. It'd be interesting.
Season of the Witch, man. Remember that one time they took Michael out. I'm just saying.
Well, that's
Uh,
true too, man. That's
you
true
know.
too.
But here's the
That is
thing,
true
too,
too.
Knight. I think Dwight hit the nail on the head because in the interview, Dwight was like, "You have to name this movie Halloween 4 Part 2.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to do it. You can't because they like be very upfront with everybody.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
is Halloween 4 Part 2. It's not Halloween 14.
Right.
It's not Halloween the New Beginning or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So everyone knows, okay, oh wait, this is part 2 of Halloween 4.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but then you're still asking the new audience, the think about all the new people to Halloween that's came from the David Gordon Green trilogy.
Right.
Right? I guarantee you, sad as it is to say this, but I think it's just the truth.
Mhm.
There are probably a significant amount of people that were new to the franchise with 2018
Mhm.
have never seen Halloween 4.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Just like saying, I think some of the new people that were introduced to Scream,
Mhm.
they've not gone back and watched Scream 2 or 3, probably.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think there's some of that out there. So the only issue is you do, like you said, Night, you have to ask the audience to watch Halloween 4 again.
Right. Yeah. They have to be on board with that movie to really
True.
understand the legacy of Jamie Lloyd as a character.
That's right.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. And again, I know some folks are probably because I've talked about this, especially once we had gone to the convention and I had done a couple of videos. Just obviously I talk about Halloween a lot, anyways, but I had referenced that mini conversation that we had with Danielle, and also my thoughts on the possibility of them doing, a sequel to four. But so I want it to happen, but the thing to me is that you're still going to be in some really, really dark territory, as I like to call it, because the thing that the David Gordon Green trilogy did that I thought was very smart is they got away from the family angle, you know, and I think that that was a really smart thing to do. It really freed them up, in my opinion. So if we go if we go back to Halloween 4 Part 2, I'm just wondering, again, a lot of new fans of this franchise. I'm just wondering how those folks will feel, about it. And again, it may be
Yeah.
great. It may work out fine. Now, me personally, and you can let me know what you think. I've never had a huge issue with the family thing, except for when they were kind of painted into a corner. By the
Mhm.
time we got to 6 for sure, a little bit in 5, we
Yeah.
were we were kind of painted into a corner because again, as much as I love the character of Jamie Lloyd,
Mhm.
you couldn't have a kid be Michael Myers, you know? And so there was nowhere for them to go. It's like, okay, he's just hunting his family, and I think that's why in 6 we got the whole idea of the curse of Thorn, the cult of Thorn, and I just think that it was eventually he's gonna run out of family members, you know? And it's just a crazy thing. It can be a strength because I think with, Michael and Laurie, there were some interesting things, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, okay, well, once he's not going after Laurie, who is he gonna go after? Oh, we're gonna go after this
Yeah.
10-year-old girl, which,
True.
again, we enjoyed it, and thankfully, you had a great character like Rachel who kinda
Mhm.
took the place of an adult or, a
Sure.
young adult, I should say. But I think it paints people into a corner, and, but this is all interesting, history about the franchise. And speaking of which, I didn't even do this. I gotta plug this. So I just had my video come up today where I really did talk about the history of the franchise. From '78 all the way to ends, the ups and downs, my thoughts on it. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. The Evolution of Halloween. Um, and I was just really, I love this franchise so much. I know Steven loves it as well. And
Yeah.
I just went down a rabbit hole, man. I went through the whole thing. So if you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. I'll put a link in the chat as well. But
Heck
for
yeah.
you, man, what's your viewpoint on the family angle? As far as, do you
Mhm.
have issue with it? Do you think it's okay? Um, what do you think it's done for the franchise?
Well, it seems like it's funny because I never really thought, I guess I didn't really stop to think about this, but my two favorite franchises,
Mhm.
Scream and then Halloween,
Yes,
both of them entrenched in family.
it's true.
Both of them.
It's
Every
true.
every single one, every single movie, with the
Yes.
exception of one Halloween film, which was three.
Mhm.
But 12 out of 13 is enriched with family, and
Mhm.
all six Scream films. So um, there are. I think you said it good, man. I think there are short term. When I mean by short term, I'm talking like 5-year bursts
Mhm.
where it's strong, but it also can be limiting. It can tie your hands
Mhm.
because at what point does the family tree get a little insane? I
That's
mean,
right.
look at Scream. We're at a point now where we brought in, well, at least for 5 and 6 now,
Mhm.
we had to introduce Sam who was the daughter of Billy.
Yes.
So we got to keep the, even though it's not a Prescott, it's
Mm-hmm.
still family. You
Right.
still got a family threat.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, guys. So, but if we're going to talk about short term, and we're talking about just this particular part two, if you will, if we're talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
I think this has to be it. I don't think there's a part three.
Yeah.
This is it. If they're going to do this thing, you got to do it one more time, and
Mm-hmm.
then the whole family thing, you have to have resolution to end it right, because we know how 4 ended.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even want to talk about it, even though I know it's the ancient movie, but it's just, I don't want to spoil it. But we know how it ended, and which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But we need closure to that ending better than we got in 5, personally.
Agreed.
We
Agreed.
know we need a proper ending. So I
Yeah.
think you have to properly end it. I think Michael has to die again in
Mm-hmm.
that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Without, yeah, I mean, it just seems to me that's the only way you're going to get closure.
Mm.
Is he's going to have to go in that part 2 movie
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Yep.
And then here's something else I didn't mention earlier, but I thought about it a minute ago. This is, if you do this, if a studio, if Malik Akkad and Miramax, if they say yes, we'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to have a nationwide, if not worldwide, at least nationwide campaign. Halloween 4 back in the cinemas, back in theaters again.
I agree with that.
And you ramp up 30 days, at least 30 days ahead. You're showing Halloween 4 every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of theaters.
I agree.
Yep.
That's a great point. That's a good idea too, because that would definitely be, and they could just, take that cost and put it into the marketing, and there's no doubt that that would be beneficial, to this film if it were to be made. I totally agree with that. Um,
Yeah.
Also, just to say real quick, a couple of you guys jumping in. We see you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll try to get to as many comments as we can. We can't get to everyone, but Anthony, good to see you in here. We got Phil, my man, Phil from Phil's Creepy Vids. Great to see you, bro. We got Ken in the chat. What's up, Ken? Saying Lethal Collective, my dudes. There we go. There's a deep cut.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
That's right.
We're still alive. We're still alive. Hanging on, hanging on. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good night, Ken. And Ginger Ninja, Ginger Ninja's my man. He's just always working hard, always helping out, and just being so supportive and amazing. He's a good
Yep.
friend, great content creator too. As a matter of fact, if I haven't said it, and I'm pretty sure I haven't, if you haven't subscribed to Ginger Ninja, or obviously to Steven from Craving Something Scary, make sure you guys do that anytime we have guests on, and also content creators in the live chat. We always want you guys to help support them as well, because we support them. So you guys should as well.
Thank
and
you.
I do, yeah, and I do have Steven's link in the description. And so definitely make sure you guys support Steven and Ginger Ninja. We have a poll that I just put up, just asking folks if they want a Halloween 4 part 2. Right now, we're at 83% for yes and 17% for no, which does not surprise me. I think most people in the horror community are open to the idea for it. Um, Dominic saying, so Knight, this is what I think. The mainstream audience won't understand who Jamie Lloyd is. You're right. So it is going to be really tough to engage the mainstream audience. Yeah, I agree. I think I think that's going to be a big obstacle. But like Steven said, bringing back Halloween 4 into the theaters and doing some
Yeah.
big promotional stuff, and obviously incorporating Danielle Harris a lot, I think would be paramount to make this thing work.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Gets
No
that
doubt.
interest up, and people will be like, "Hey, Halloween 4 Part 2 is coming out next
Mhm,
month." To see,
mhm.
see what started the whole, see where it all began, and all that right here. You know what I mean? You could totally get some eyeballs
Oh
on the
yeah.
movie, yeah, by doing that, I think.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. And hey, we got my good buddy Neil from Neon
Hey,
Black Reviews in the house. What's up, buddy?
what's up,
Hope you're
Neil?
doing well. It's in Halloween in Space. Uber Jason versus Uber Michael.
Uber Jason, man.
Yeah, Jason would win.
I'd have to give it to him. Yep.
I know. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, and Dominic was thinking the same thing as you, Steven, letting people
Mhm.
know it's a direct sequel. You'd have to. You really,
Yeah.
really would have to. No doubt at
Mhm.
all. No doubt at all. And we got Super Tenor about to head out saying it was fun. I've got some training tomorrow. Need my thinking cap on. Okay. All right, man. Well, hey, have a
Take
good
care.
night. We're glad you hung out with us tonight. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very cool. Now, the other part of this that we haven't talked about too much, but I want to
Mhm.
definitely get into is Rachel, played by the great Ellie Cornell, and also hey to Scott Lauderdale in the chat, and Scott Royston saying the Sister Angle made the franchise. It did. It allowed that franchise to just continue. It's absolutely it's so funny because it's a catch 22. And I
Mhm.
talked a lot about that too in my video on the history. But getting back to Ellie Cornell as Rachel, I think that, man, it would be so cool to have her back in the fold. You
Yeah.
guys who've been around, if you've been around long enough, you've heard me and also Steven talk about how in Halloween 5, the death
Mhm.
of Rachel
Mm.
it was just so horrendous to do that to that character. I've called it the most emotional death in the franchise. It was just like I just couldn't believe they did it in the way they did it. It was horrible. She was a character that I just didn't understand the reasoning. So with that being said, bringing her back in, number one, Stephen, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but would you want to see it? And what do you think could be her connection to this story? Any ideas that you might have
Mhm.
how she'd work?
Yeah, I mean, definitely want her back, and I mean, I kinda touched a little bit on it earlier, but I think I would still see her, like, after what happened in 4, I would like to think that, they got, Jamie into the help she needed, right? The
Yeah.
obviously, and I would like to think that after what her and Rachel went through together in 4, the trauma of Michael chasing them and the whole just, the what they experienced, man, I would think it would be very in addition to being, foster sister, whatever, relationship, whatever,
Hmm.
it's a very, bonding situation that very no one else or very few other people could relate to in their lives. So I would
Yeah.
like to think she would stay as that older sister figure throughout these hidden years, all these years that have passed,
Hmm.
and that she would be there standing. That she'd be the first one to greet her when she's when she's released
Yeah.
from the
Good point.
facility after all this time, and that she's there, and we find out throughout the movie, we learn that she's been visiting her. Maybe there's letters and there's pictures or there's they figure out a way to show us that she's been there all along,
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
journey of her getting better.
Yeah. No,
So
I
that's
agree.
what I'd like to see that, man.
That would be a good way to do it. I agree. Again, well, I think to your point, I think that's what was one of the big strengths of Halloween 4 was their relationship and how it felt real, it felt
Mhm.
organic,
Yeah.
and and I also want to throw in, I just hope Rachel is still a boss because she was just so awesome in Halloween 4, man. That
Yeah.
rooftop scene
Ooh,
alone, you know, I mean,
yeah.
Jamie Lloyd is obviously a little kid and she was traumatized, and Rachel was like, "Well, try, damn it, get out of
That's
here. You
right.
got to get away from them." And I loved that about her. She was just
Yeah,
awesome, man.
she was
Um,
great.
Real quick too in the chat, you are very welcome, Ginger Ninja. You are the man. Love you, Barrett. Love you, man. Love you. And we got Barb in the chat. What's up, Barb?
Hey,
That is
hey, Barb.
awesome. Glad to see you, Barb. If we get a super chat, I've got a clip that I think that you'd enjoy, Barb. I really do.
Nice.
Yes. And we got Eric from Two Boys in the
Hey.
chat. What's up? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
Yeah.
What's up, Chuck? And I think we got a couple other people jumping in. Let's see. You guys are too funny, man. Oh, man. And Scott saying, for years, I know Danielle Harris has been wanting to come back to the Halloween franchise. And in many ways, even though they did not allow her to do this, it would be the perfect time. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing I like about it is that number one, she's at an age where it would work really well. Because I think the other part that would obviously make this interesting is if there's another child involved. So if she had a child, right? And this is similar to some of what she pitched, because she's talked about this on social media, what she thinks would be a good story for the
Okay.
next Halloween. She has a child and there's still a darkness involved. And so now she, being the grown up, has to, make sure that she protects her child and so forth. So I think that there could be some good things going on in there. But she's at the right age, and I think that she also, as an actress and also as an icon in horror, she just she's special. I know, especially for us Halloween fans, dare say, I mean, she's very, very special. She's
Yep.
iconic. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that obviously Jamie Lee Curtis has, bid farewell, and we understand that. And she's had a great run, great movies, and an iconic character in Laurie Strode. And I think, for me, anyways, I mean, Danielle Harris is very iconic too, growing up, with that movie being such a big part of my horror fandom as a kid. So, yeah, I'd love to see her come back. No doubt. No doubt at all. Yeah. You guys talking about Halloween 3. I know, man. Love Halloween 3. Nathaniel's in the chat. What's up, Nathaniel? Good to see you. Saying time for some late night watch zone action. There you go. And Neil singing the Silver Shamrock song. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And look at that, man. Eric's coming in with a $2 super chat. Thanks, super chat. Did someone say super chat? All right. So here's one of the clips, and Steven, I don't even think you've seen this yet. But this is a fun one, a memory of sorts. And anyways, thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate you, brother. Here we go with one of the first of 3 super chat clips that I hope I get to play tonight. Here we go.
Aren't they like 3 stories up?
No, they're down lower.
Right?
I think they're lower.
Oh, they're lower.
Oh,
Dang.
oh,
Oh, they're lower.
oh,
Dang.
oh,
Oh, they're lower.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so bad.
Oh,
that's so bad. Oh,
bro.
man.
Not
They
again.
smushed him.
Oh no,
He's
still alive, bro.
This
Why?
is insane. Dude, this is insane. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Bro, can I just say,
Yeah.
listen, so there's probably a bunch of people in this live chat are like, wait a minute, what happened? Did we just go to another stream? That was a super chat clip, and it was from our watch party during our Slayfest event. And we were really, really lucky to have our good friend Barb on the panel with us when we were watching P2. And bro, and remember during that stream, I told you, I said, I have got to clip out some of this stuff because the reactions were crazy. I literally, I could have done it about 6 or 7 of them. There were so many. So that was the one I chose, and it's a
Awesome.
little bit longer than most super chat clips, obviously, because it was just so funny. Our reactions, man. So
That was
um,
great, man. That was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that was a good
Wow.
one. The reactions that you guys had was great. Like, oh, and look at
Oh, man.
Barb, she's laughing. Oh, that was a great memory, man. It was a great
Yeah, it
memory.
was. And what a great
Yes.
movie it was.
Oh, that was a great one. See, this is one thing, and we've talked about this many times, Stephen, but when we do these watch parties, buckle up. Buckle up,
Yeah,
Buttercup, because we have a lot of fun with each other on the panel, but also with you guys in the live chat. And that this was a great example of it. So yeah, good
yeah.
times, man. Good times. And Troy's coming in with a $2 super chat. It's super chat. You say, hit me with some Mr. T. Okay, so you specifically want some Mr. T. Okay, you know what? I can't I can't not play some Mr. T. So look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do two of our favorite. Well, actually, we might just do one, but we're gonna get some Mr. T in there. All right, here we go. Love you. Thank you so much for the super chat, man.
Treat her right, treat your mother right. Treat her right, treat her right.
Yeah.
Treat her right, treat
Oh,
your mother right.
And
It doesn't get old.
Treat her right.
Give me for the moan and the miserable groan from the pain that you felt when I was gone.
There it is. Troy, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Definitely helps to keep the lights on, to keep us going, man. And speaking of keeping going, and I know we were just talking about Halloween, and we're going to get back to that. We also want to touch upon Scream, of course, and maybe some other stuff before we close this show out tonight. But we had fun with Slayfest. It was absolutely a blast.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna throw out the tease right now. Steven and I have been talking about how we were gonna tease this out there, and maybe we'll officially do that on Friday, with the matinee
Ooh,
stream, and then
we
later on,
could.
yeah. But I will tease this. We had Halloween Fest too. We had Slay Fest, and we
Mhm.
will have a new fest, a new event
Yes.
stream coming up soon.
Yes.
Very, very soon. When I say soon, bro, I'm not
Mhm.
talking about a month from now. Okay. That's
Nope.
all I'm going to say. And, Steven and I and Coriander were really excited. We love doing this type of stuff with you guys and having that commitment to bring you guys these shows, not only here on the Night Watch Zone, but on Steven's channel, Craven Something Scary. So make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled. Keep your
Mhm.
eyes peeled on us on social media, on our community posts, and everything like that. And you're gonna find out really, really soon. So
Yes, it's
yeah,
coming.
it is, man. I'm really, really excited. Um, and these guys got a kick out of those. And Barb, you're right. That movie was crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, and Barb, thank you so much and I've said this many times, and Stephen has as well, but thank you so much for all the support and the
Mhm.
positivity that you've brought here. We can't do this type of stuff without you guys. So thank you so much, Barb. You rock.
Yep.
And Matt said, I forgot about P2, right? Oh my God, it was so much
Mhm.
fun.
Great
It
one.
was great. And Barb saying, I feel like Christmas Horror Story has great reactions from you guys too. That's true. We had some good ones there too, man.
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes.
That ending when we
Oh
realize
my
what's really
God.
going on.
Yes. Yes. Oh my
Whoa.
God.
Whoa.
Yes. And look, Troy says new ones on deck. Hit me with it. Troy, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. We really appreciate it. Seriously, it makes a big difference. Uh, w- we couldn't do this type of stuff without you guys. Seriously. So Stephen, sometimes when you're doing activities, you get laser focused. You know what I'm saying? Like as content creators, and we were just talking about this, we're going to be laser focused in 2024 to bring
Yep.
some great content to these wonderful people. But sometimes when you're laser focused, you don't notice things, bro. And this might happen to maybe even us. Oh!
Heavy.
Oh wow. Guys, like no one's denying me first place. I'm going.
Dude, did you see that? He didn't even slow down.
Nope. Didn't even look
My
back.
God. He was on a mission.
He was.
He knew the score. He knew the score. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Troy. We appreciate you, bro. Mega Giants in the chat. What's going on? And Eric, all I'm gonna say is you're a pretty smart guy. That's all I'm gonna say. He's saying my bloody Valentine Fest. You're a pretty smart guy. That's all I gotta say. Ginger Ninja says we got 25 votes. 84% want to see Halloween 4 Part 2. 16% saying no. Okay. All right. Okay. Very, very cool. He says, and I'm back. Trick or feast. Oh, I like that. That's kind of cool, man. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Chrissy, that's a good one. So, anyways, and I think, as we close out this part on Halloween, I think all of us are just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. If you were to guess, Steven, if someone said you got to make a bet, is this going to happen or is it not? What percentage would you give it?
Man, I wish the number was flipped, but I'm not extremely optimistic that this will ever happen. I think even with Dwight pitching it, and Danielle ready to go, and I would hope it would, but I don't think it. If put it this way, if it does happen, it's going to be a independently funded independent film, almost like a fan film, professional fan film, like a Never Hike Alone. It's going to be a very well made fan film with the actual celebrities in the movie. I don't know that Malik Akkad would. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm going to be honest. I'm just guessing. But it just seems to me more like we're going to just grab the troops and make this independent film.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it, because the major studio funding is not. I don't think they'll get behind it. So I'm gonna say it's 30%. Like 30% chance this happens, 70% it doesn't.
Okay. So now, and I'm sorry, what was that? You said 35%?
I'll go 30% chance that it could happen.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think 30% chance it could be an independent film and they could do it.
Yeah, I gotta admit, man, I'm pretty much right there with you, man. I think we're at like a 30% chance, maybe even a little bit less. I'd love to say it was 40
right
or 45%.
Me too.
Because then it's a coin flip, right?
That's right.
And that's good news for us that want to see it happen. But I just think if I was to take a guess, and that there's a lot of ideas that are being thrown through can't imagine that this would top. I just can't imagine this would rise to the top of all of those ideas.
I agree.
Because and this is no disrespect to it, but there's a lot of baggage. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Not only that, and again, and we know why it happened. And of course, Dwight gave you a great answer to this in the interview. But that mask, bro, how are they going to get past that mask? Because as much as I love the movie, as much as I love, George P. Wilbur, rest in peace to George P. Wilbur, that mask, bro, it's still messing with me even after all these, when I was a kid, if you could have seen the look on my face as a kid when I
Yeah.
first saw that movie, you would laugh your tail off, bro.
Aw.
Because as a little kid, imagine this. This is Little Night. Halloween had not been around since 81. With Halloween, well, I should say Michael wasn't
Right.
around since 81. And I'm big into Jason at this point. I'm big into Freddy. And Michael, it's called The Return of
Mhm.
Michael Myers. I was so excited. The cover of that VHS that I rented had the classic mask.
It did.
Bro, when I saw that mask, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is going on here? But obviously,
Yep.
as time went on, I was able to accept it, and it's not the worst. It's not the worst, but
Definitely not the
I like
worst.
to poke fun at it. I like to poke fun. And real quick too, man, in the chat, look at this. Scott is coming in. Scott Royston coming in with a $50 super chat.
Wow.
Oh man, thank you so much, man. Seriously, brother, we appreciate that. Seriously. Let me just say, and Scott,
Awesome.
yeah, man, it is. And Scott, always being so supportive here at the Night Watch Zone and also on your channel, Craving Something Scary.
Yep.
And we really appreciate that. I mean, you guys, like I was saying earlier, for everyone else that's been doing chats tonight and just being here tonight, we can't do this stuff without you guys. You guys are the ones that allow us to talk to you and have these communities and have the fun that we're having.
That's
So
right.
Scott, seriously, man, thank you so much, brother. Much appreciated. He says, an idea popped in my head about a good epic ending to Halloween 4 Part 2. In the past, Rachel was by Jamie's side. Now, Jamie turns to Rachel and says, no, I have to face him alone. She divides herself from Rachel and has a showdown with Michael, niece against uncle. Ooh.
Ooh.
That would be really interesting. So, in other words, there's a little bit of that conflict and disconnect between Jamie and Rachel. That actually, you know what? That is really smart because that would give Danielle and also Ellie a lot to work with. You know what I'm saying? As far as actresses, that is a very smart idea, Scott. I like that. What do
Plus,
you
you
think?
have Jamie now, who's be like, you know what? Before I was a child, I'm not a child anymore. I'm ready.
Mm,
Kind of like that when that moment in H2O,
yes.
when Jamie, I mean when Jamie Lee Curtis grabs the axe,
Yes.
she was over it. I'm done.
Yes.
This ends now, and you could see Rachel get Jamie get to that point where it's like,
Yes.
no more.
Mm-hmm.
It's you and me.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I like it.
I love that, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And it's funny too, because the way that Scott wrote it, I could see that in my head.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think that would be a great moment for these characters. Now with a caveat, because you guys know I absolutely adore Ellie Cornell.
Mhm.
And this character of Rachel. So hopefully she still gets a chance to do something boss like, because I just would love to still see her kind of have something that she does to help out her little sister.
Yeah.
But I love this idea, Scott. I think that would make some really good dramatic weight between the two actresses. And then again, like you
Mhm.
said, niece against uncle. Steven, you said it perfectly. I'm not a kid anymore,
Nope.
and that would be awesome, man. See, this is why I like talking about this stuff, man, because both of us agree it might only be a 30% chance, if that,
Right.
that we're gonna see this. Now, maybe, like you said, maybe it can be a fan film type of thing,
Could
which is
be.
not, yeah, which is not, that's not the end of the world. I definitely would still be up for that.
That's
And
right.
I'm sure the powers that involved, like Danielle and so forth, I think they'd be up for that too. But anyways, Scott,
Ah.
awesome idea. I'm really digging that. Hell, man, I might even be working that idea into some more conversations that we have on live stream and video. So thank you so much for that, because that would really
Mhm.
make the story. I think one thing we do know, or we can all agree on, is that we want the story to be captivating.
Yep.
We want the story to be interesting. and you get interest out of conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if Jamie is trying to handle this on her own, maybe for the safety of Rachel, or
Mhm.
maybe there's a misunderstanding or whatever it may be, a disagreement, whatever. I think that would make things very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And Jamie could always, I mean, Rachel could always show up at the end
that's right.
where it's like, it's Jamie and Michael, but it looks like Michael's going to win. And then
Yes.
Rachel shows up and like helps
Yes.
at the end,
Yes.
very, very end. And they take them out together.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
that'd be awesome.
Man,
two of them together taking them down.
I can't lie, man. And it's so funny because, again, referencing our trip to the con, it was so funny because Coriander was getting a kick out of this, because here I am in front of Danielle Harris. Now, we're very close in age, and I'm looking at her, and I've enjoyed a lot of her work, as she's grown up. But it's so funny because as I'm looking at this little woman, she's very short. I'm not tall, but I made her look like a midget, and I've got the pictures too. But as I'm looking at her, it was so interesting because I was still kind of seeing that young little girl, and so I know she could tell it on my face, because she's like, give me a hug, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this, and it was so
cool,
awesome.
though. Yeah.
But I say all that to say that, talking about this is so much fun, because this movie, this franchise, these characters, they do mean a lot to us as fans. So it's really good. It's really cool. But Scott, thank you so much for being super generous and supportive. We truly appreciate you, man. So let's do another super chat clip. I've got another new one that I'm going to throw out. And again, I don't think you've seen this one either, Steven. But but we'll see what happens, man. Because sometimes when you're at work, you get taught a lot of different things. Some stuff works out good, and some stuff doesn't. So here we go.
Run. All right, let's try it.
Oh man.
Heavy.
That's literally taking the rules literally. Right.
It was.
That's great.
Oh my god. When I showed this, because these are really new, I showed this, I think I started it last night when we were doing Battle World, and my good buddy Eric, Hey Internet Eric here, the look on his face, he just kind of had his head down and he's just shaking it and smiling, and oh man, I love getting that type of reaction from you guys. It's great stuff, man.
Oh, it's awesome.
It is. And yes, Barb, that was very sweet of Scott. No doubt at all. Very, very kind. And hey, we got Cora in the chat. What's going on, Cora? Hope you're doing well.
Hey there.
We're here late at night hanging out, saying have a great show. Thank you so much, and hope you're doing well as well and having a good start to 2024. Great to see you here. Seriously. Let's see. And Scott was saying that was the best poster art. The poster art was basically showing the events from 10 years ago, though it wasn't supposed to be showing you what was supposed to happen on the night of 1988. Good point. And I do love the post art for Halloween 4. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Scott saying, I love you both so much. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Scott.
Much love and respect to you, and also appreciation for all that you do in this community. Like I said, for both of our channels and beyond. And of course, for everyone here in the live chat, being positive and just passing on the horror love. We really, this is what makes this so much fun for us. Seriously.
Yes.
Let's see. I want to catch up to these guys. Now, Two Boys brought up a good point. Eric is saying, but wouldn't that be similar to Halloween Ends in some ways? As far as Jamie versus Michael, and then if Rachel comes in and helps to save the day, there definitely is similarities, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you just, I mean, in some ways, yeah, but I think you do it in just a totally different way
Mm-hmm.
than it was done in Ends. I mean, I think it's just a, I mean, there'll be a parallel. I'm sure you can make a parallel, but
Yeah.
in my mind, it's just, at least in my mind's eye, it looks so much different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Agreed.
Um, but,
Absolutely agreed.
but yeah.
And look at this, man. Ginger Ninja. Yeah, I love this guy. He's doing this and he's
Thank you,
awesome,
Ginger.
man. Didn't even
Telling
ask him
you.
to do this. Saying, don't forget to
Yeah.
subscribe to Craven Something Scary. That's right. And put the link in the chat too. That's what I'm talking
That's
about,
awesome.
man. Very,
Yes.
very cool. And also to our good buddy Eric from Hey Internet Eric here. Ginger Ninja Man, thank you so much. Seriously, much
Yes.
appreciated. You're all right. You're all right.
Very much, man. Thank you.
And Mary saying, Night, you and Craven and Coriander are a blessing to YouTube. Thank you for the joy you bring to us. Oh, well, thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate you as well.
Aw.
Thank you for always being so kind and generous and also
Yes.
supportive. It's very, very cool.
Very.
All right. Well, now, Stephen, and again, man, you know, I know we're up late and I don't want to keep everyone too long, but I did want to touch upon some Scream talk
Okay.
because obviously we haven't had a chance to talk about this much at all.
No.
But my goodness, the comments from the Scream Queen herself,
Haha. Yeah.
one of my favorite actresses, who, by the way, I was this close to
Oh.
meeting her at that con in New Jersey, bro. Do you know? And I don't think I ever really even told you the extent of it. I was so dejected because she was going to be there, you
Yep.
know, with Matthew, with David, with
Mhm.
Skeet, and also with Jamie. And man, that was one for the bucket list. Was
Yep.
to meet Neve Campbell
For sure.
and be right in her presence. And of course, her schedule. There was a schedule conflict, and she couldn't be there. So I just say that to say, you know, you win
Oh.
some, you lose some. But anyways, I absolutely love Neve Campbell. But she's basically said, hey, the door is open,
Mhm.
and you guys know where I live.
Yep.
I am open to things under the right circumstances is basically paraphrasing and having
Yeah.
fun with it.
It's
But
true though.
what are your thoughts on that and the possibilities for Scream 7?
Well, I was, beginning to be concerned
Mm-hmm.
that we may not get her back because, after all that's happened,
That's right.
and there's been no word from her, or the
Mhm.
studio,
Mhm.
other than the studio. Basically, I think the producers have been very open that they want her back.
Yes.
But still, there's been no word. I'm like, man, the longer this goes on, the more it makes me nervous. And when I saw the interview and, what she said, it gave me a lot of hope. It restored the hope that I had had previously.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she's like, under the right circumstances, and then she went immediately referred to saying something like, the history with what happened before. And she
Mm-hmm.
talked about how, she felt she would have been paid higher than last movie had she been a man over, carrying a franchise for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously finances are up the top of her list. Because she's bringing it up again.
Yep.
So that's kind of letting the studio know you better have that blank check ready, or that armored car ready
Yes.
to be delivered to the house, because so she's let it be known. And then she went on to say how this movie matters to her. The franchise matters to her and the casts, the
Mhm.
legacy cast, and it mattered to Kevin how much it meant to Wes. And she doesn't want to see it burned, is what she said. She doesn't want to see it burned. Like, she wouldn't see it destroyed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there that I think she said it herself. Under the right circumstances, I would come back.
Mm-hmm.
So to me now, it's back on the studio now. It's not on
Yeah.
Neve anymore. She's already said, I'll do it. So
Mm-hmm.
they got to deliver, man. They got to pay the
Mhm.
woman. and get her featured in the as the focal point
Yeah.
of the Scream 7. She needs to be the star again, in my book. So to me, we're in a better spot now than we were even a couple of weeks ago, because I think there was so much unknown, like because of what's happened with Melissa and Christopher. Although Christopher left on his own, but still, the point is all the turmoil. Would she even be considerate? But she would. So
Yeah.
Let's go, man. Get her back. Let's do it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And Barb saying, love when you guys do these late night streams. I work so late usually. Well, Barb, we're so happy to be able to do these whenever we can. It doesn't always work out
Yep.
for us, to do it, but whenever we can, it's always fun. I mean, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If I get a chance to stream with Steven, it's always fun, man. And
Always.
we've literally, and this is absolutely true. We've probably, in one way or the other, have either streamed, texted, or been on the phone with each other at all hours of the day and night.
Very true.
Whether it's morning, afternoon, mid-afternoon, evening, night, middle of the night, early morning. We're talking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, so we love hanging out, man. We love hanging out.
Yes,
Scott
we
saying, I think it's okay throughout the film for Rachel to say Jamie in certain scenes where maybe Michael shows, but at the end, Jamie has to do it on her own. Yep. Yeah. Now I agree with that too. That would be a good way to kind of get the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yep.
Barb saying she canceled on the August Horror Hound 2 when I was going. I was so sad. Right? I know, and I know she's a busy woman, and I love her, but I was just so, oh man, I was just so sad, man. It was a gut punch.
Maybe this year, man. Maybe this year.
Maybe, man. Maybe. Scott, thank you for reminding people. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. That would help us out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Scott. Mary saying, I'm not going to bed yet, but thank you all for the nice sleep well wishes. All right. And we've got a channel member anniversary. One of our watchers, Barb herself, 6 months. That is so cool. Oh man, Barb, like I said earlier, thank you so much for all the support, all the motivation, and so forth. She had a huge part for me personally, just some of the inspiration for Slayfest, and she's obviously, I know, done a lot of great things and inspirational things for you as well, Stephen. But she's awesome.
Yes.
And she says, I think under the right circumstances means a different studio, but hopefully I'm wrong. Well, maybe. I don't know. But I'll tell you what I think. And Scott, thanks for giving congrats to Barb. We appreciate that. First of all, when she said she's open to it, I was like, yes, thank God. Thank God that there's the chance. You know what I'm saying? Like the door is open.
That's right.
Like you said, this is the best position we've been in a long time, as far as from Neve, coming back.
Right.
And I agree, man. They've just got to bring her back. They got to do the right thing. They got to do the smart thing for the franchise. With everything in turmoil, the one thing that would definitely kind of get everyone focused and that laser focus situation, like we've talked about, is to bring back Sidney Prescott.
Yes, dude.
Bring back Sidney Prescott. Let's get a great story. Who knows? Maybe we could tie up all these loose ends, and obviously that keeps the door open for our boy Matthew.
Oh yeah.
So but I just think, but just bringing Sydney alone back, I think would be great, because I think with 5, I just feel like there was more for her to do before it's quote unquote all said and done. And
Yes.
maybe that's just the horror fan in me talking, and I can accept that and I can admit that. But I just feel like there was just more for her that she needs to do. And I'm not just talking about her fighting Ghostface and doing all these things, but just more scenes, more more
Yes, more involvement, right?
yes, thank you, more involvement. Like, I always go back to Scream 4
Yeah.
as what I think is a great example of
Mhm.
it being a Sydney story, but you also had new characters, like Jill
True.
and Kirby and Charlie and all those guys. But Sydney didn't have a back seat. Sydney was very strong in that film. And so was Gail and Dewey, in my opinion, versus
Yep,
5.
that's right.
Um, so I would just love to have her come back, man. I really, really would. And I hope that it's gonna happen.
Man,
Seriously.
me too, buddy. Me too.
Seriously. Now we got Austin in the chat, and welcome, Austin. Hope you're doing well and hanging out with us on this late night is very, very cool. And he's bringing up a really good point that I was about to throw out to you as well, Stephen, about this whole idea of Neve possibly being involved with some more, connections, possibly with Melissa, some possibilities as far as maybe her being able to come back. Number one, and I know a lot of this is hearsay, and we've got rumors and stuff, but Austin was saying Critical Overlord just posted on Twitter that Melissa Barrera's mom has been liking tweets about Melissa having a second meeting, so hopefully a good sign. What thoughts do you have on this aspect of the Scream 7 hoopla?
Well, it's interesting.
Mhm.
Critical Overlord, is someone who I talk to fairly regularly. In direct messages and things like that.
Mhm.
And I do consider him to be a credible source. Like,
Mm.
I think he's pretty pretty trustworthy on his stuff.
Mhm.
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't sometimes get bad intel. That's you can't help that. That happens
Yeah.
sometimes. But
Mhm.
anyway, I have heard the rumor. I have not reported on it on my channel. I haven't done a video about it because I just think I want to wait until there's a little more, something more substantial behind it for me.
Mhm.
That's why
Same here.
I haven't jumped on it. Right, we can just throwing it out there
That's right.
because I'm like, and I'm not saying it didn't happen by any means, but I'm just saying, pinch of salt with all rumors. And I'm like, would Neve actually try to excuse me, guys, would Neve actually try to orchestrate a meeting with the studio and Melissa? Maybe.
Mhm.
I could see it more if it was like Gail, or Courtney or David, if he was still in the picture.
Mhm.
But I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a rumor. And I personally have my own threshold of what I like to share.
Mhm.
And for me, I personally want a little bit more for my threshold before I want to make it a discussion point as terms of videos and things like that. But like,
Yeah.
talking about it like this, I have no problem with that. I'm just talking about like, making videos. But
Mhm.
I mean, look, if it's true, great. If it gets them talking, great. I mean, that's wonderful. And I'll be the first to say, again, I applaud it. But
Mhm.
it seems to me like Neve would be more concerned with getting her own deal right now. I mean, she's just talking, she hasn't even got her own deal secured yet. She's
Yeah.
talking about being open to return.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, I would be like, okay, well, let's get my check signed,
Mhm.
my contract signed, and then let me go see if I can help anybody else. I mean,
Mhm.
it just seems kind of backwards to do it this way. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Just my thoughts.
Well, maybe what it could be, and again, this is purely speculation. We don't know if anything is true yet, so we're just talking as horror fans, as Scream fans. So I just want to preface that to everyone watching, and especially folks that might be watching this on replay. But maybe it might be the type of thing where if she's had any conversations, if Nev has had any conversations that she might have expressed, because one thing she did say in that interview is, um and again, I'm totally paraphrasing it, but basically she said it's kind of too bad that things are the way they are right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that it was a little disappointing, and she loves this
Mhm.
franchise for Wes and for Kevin and so forth. So maybe it's the type of thing where she basically said, look, guys, we've got a great opportunity to make a seventh film,
Yeah.
and I want to be a part of it if the deal is right. I love this franchise. And who knows, she might have said, but we've got another great young star in Melissa,
Mhm.
who brings a lot to the table as well. And I
Yeah.
think that, that should be looked at too. Because the one thing about Nev, and again, I want to say it again in case people just jumped in. We don't know if this is true. We're totally speculating,
Yeah.
totally theorizing, just as horror fans, as Scream fans. But one thing we do know about Nev Campbell is she has a very mature demeanor. She's very, now that at this age now and with her experience, she really, it's hard. I'm not getting the words, but I think that she looks at the business in a certain way and she understands it in a certain way. And I
Mhm.
think she knows that as she was going through the franchise, there were things that she gave up, you
Right.
know.
That's true.
You know what I mean, and we know that that's actually true. And it wouldn't
Mhm.
surprise me if she was looking at this situation with Melissa, and I'm not saying getting all into the optics of it, but
Mhm.
just in general saying, "Hey, if I can help out a fellow actress who's also a young actress, basically where I was 30 years ago or
Mhm.
whatever. Why not do that if I have some respect, on my name, some leverage or whatever?" So I guess I say all that to say, if we find out that this is true, that Nev had something to do with it, or maybe put in a good word or whatever, it would not surprise me in the least,
Yeah.
because we do know that she's had a lot of conversations with her mentors, like Jamie Lee Curtis, when Jamie Lee Curtis
Right.
talked about how what she was getting to come back into Halloween, and Nev, I've seen them
True.
in interviews talk about it, and that
Mhm.
sisterhood and so forth. So I say all that to say that it wouldn't surprise me, and you know what? If it is true, good for Nev. I
Yeah,
will
definitely.
say the more I hear about Nev Campbell in these last several years, um, just outside of Scream, just as a person, as a veteran actress, I'm gaining more and more respect for her. And I've already had a lot of respect and love for her.
Yeah,
But
man.
just hearing how she conducts business and how
Mhm.
she looks at everything, and she's so humble too.
She
you
really
know,
is.
she
Yeah.
she, she totally doesn't get why people have her on this pedestal, especially us in the horror community. And I love that
Mhm.
about her. I absolutely love that about her. So
Yep.
yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. It's
Mhm.
interesting. Matt making a great point. Sydney's presence made it seem like she was in Scream 3, more than she was. Very
Mhm.
true. Very true.
It
Yes.
does.
Yep. Ginger Ninja saying, I do think Sydney was done wrong in Scream 5. I get they were introducing new characters, but she deserved more.
Yep.
Yes. Yes,
Totally
yes,
did.
yes. Yes. Agreed. And let's see. Let me make sure I catch up to you guys. I know I'm way behind. Eric saying, if they made Scream successful without paying Nev, could they just think they could make 7 successful without paying any of the big 3, or do they break down and say we have to write checks? Well,
Gary.
let me let me get that
Dude.
picture that you sent. Our good buddy, the greatest executive of all time. There he is.
Oh, Gary Barber.
I love it, man.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Well, you know, and I'll pass this to you in a second, Stephen. I think
Yeah.
that, yeah, I mean, obviously 6 was successful, but I also think at this point, from the studio side of it, I think they're very open to saying, hey, we're probably have to give out a couple of coins on this one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
yeah,
know, they did really well with 6, but the other thing about it too is that, you know, again, we're talking about Sydney Prescott, bro. I mean, this isn't
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, and I love so many of these characters, don't get me wrong, but this is Sydney. You know
yeah.
what I mean? This isn't a
That's
mom
right.
and pop character. This is,
No,
the whole story, the whole franchise was focused on her throughout these movies until
exactly,
6, you know?
exactly.
Well, 5 wasn't either, but you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying.
No, I
Um,
do.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that because of their decisions of what they've done thus far,
Mhm.
I think they have Gary Barber in the studio has they've really put themselves into the corner where they're gonna have to, man. I mean,
Mhm.
because I mean, I really believe if you don't bring back, Melissa or Jenna, which right now they're not,
Mhm.
if you don't bring back Nev Campbell too, dude, and you're gonna try to keep this thing legacy,
Mhm.
you're talking about having Courtney Cox, Kirby, Hayden Panettiere, and well, let me just call them by characters' names. You're gonna have Gail, make it simpler. You'll have Gail, Kirby, Chad, and Mindy,
Mhm.
and that's your lead cast.
Right.
I'm sorry, that is not strong enough, in
Mhm.
my opinion, to carry a film. Chad and Mindy have been supporting characters since day one.
That's right.
They've never been the lead. Never was never their intent. They were never written to be leads.
Mhm.
Courtney has the ability to be a lead, but even
Yes.
as Gail, she can do it.
Mhm.
But I mean, do we really want to? I mean, some would say yes, but I'm just saying in general, do we really want to see a movie where it's the Gail Winters movie? I mean, Gail Weathers movie. I mean,
Right.
I know some would. Some are huge fans of her, and I'm a fan of her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's, I mean, Stu famously said that Maureen Prescott was no Sharon Stone. Well, I'm going to
Right.
say it this way: Gail Weathers is no Sydney Prescott.
Right.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I like her. I love the character, but
Yes.
she also has been a supporting cast member.
That's right. That's right.
So Sydney's always been the star, and up until 5. And to me, to save this movie, I'm going to say it again, man. You got to go legacy. You
Mhm.
got to bring back Sydney. You should bring back Mark Kincaid,
Mhm.
Courtney Cox. Bring back you can bring back Kirby. Kirby to me is on the fence
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
me. Like I won't miss her if she's not there,
Mhm.
but I'll take her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't crazy about her personality, how it was written in 5 and 6.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was kind of dull, kind of
Yeah.
just
They
bland.
they took the fire out of her a little bit, you know what I
They
mean? Like,
did.
yeah.
They did, dude. And
Yeah.
so, and I know not you've heard me say this before, but I'll go ahead. I gotta say it one more time. I think that you box up 5 and 6 as the Carpenter Chronicles,
Mhm.
and you direct sequel to Scream 4, and
Mhm.
you bring back David Arquette as Dewey, and you've got the entire legacy movie back. You got them all.
Mhm.
You've got Gail, Dewey, Sydney,
Mhm.
Kincaid, Kirby. Now
Right.
there's a movie I would go watch in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that well, I definitely would watch it too. That would that would be awesome to see. Whether they're gonna do that or not, I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many things on the table. Um, I
Yeah,
will say, and I agree with you about Kirby and 6 as well, because I was huge as far as Kirby coming back, and I was really excited to see Hayden back. And I had seen an interview that she did, obviously before the release of 6, and it was a really emotional interview. I think it was on Good Morning America or whatever, and it was just great to see her, kind of, getting back into things. and I always loved the character. She was a favorite character of mine from 4, and I do agree in 6 they really kind of took that fun or that fire out of her a bit, and
Yeah,
I was a little. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did not go into it expecting her to have an A level type of amount of weight in the story, because you had
sure.
the core 4, you had
Mhm.
all these other folks involved, you had Courtney Cox, so I knew I knew that Kirby wouldn't get a lot, but I was hoping for a little bit more, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, maybe she'll come back, maybe she won't. But Eric, great question. There's just so many ins and outs, man. So
Oh,
many
yeah.
ins and outs. Mega Giant saying Nev looks at things from a business perspective. Nev is a very wise woman. I agree.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree. Yep. Troy saying, sorry, Knight and Craven. As much as I love Nev, she is no Jamie Lee within the industry. It's true. It's true. I think they definitely. I mean, and we got to also remember about their their I don't want to say generation, but just their experience in the industry as well. Because
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, she wasn't the first scream queen, but she was one of the first that was so celebrated as a scream queen. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
That's right.
And being connected to Halloween and so many of those other horror movies from the slasher craze era,
Oh, yeah.
it just elevated her. But she was
Oh, yeah.
also so smart and also very fortunate that she had success outside of the genre.
Exactly.
So when you said the name Jamie Lee Curtis, it holds a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And Nev hasn't had that level of success outside of the genre to this point. Now she might, and I think she's quite capable. And
Mhm.
Ninja saying it too. Nev was great in Twisted Metal. I think she's a fantastic
Oh,
actress.
yeah. Lincoln
So
Lawyer was really good with her. I really enjoyed her in that for first 2 seasons too.
yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but yeah, what I've seen of her, so
Mhm.
yeah, she might get that level of success or maybe a higher level of success. You know what I mean? I,
Well, the
I
other thing
definitely
too,
see that.
Knight, Jamie Lee, to your point, it's you're talking about someone who also was in blockbuster films. She was in
Hmm.
True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're talking about
That's right.
massively mainstream blockbuster movie, Trading Places.
Yes.
I mean, there's you gotta remember the scale of films outside of horror
Hmm.
that also plays a factor into that, right? It's and
That's
so
right.
yeah, and let's not forget she's got 20 years on net,
That's right.
essentially, maybe or close to it.
That's
15, at
right.
least 15 years. Well, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I will say this though. I think when it comes to the horror genre, I believe that Neve is every bit of a final girl as Jamie Lee is in the horror world. Maybe that's a hot take,
Yeah.
but I think her acting and Sidney Prescott is compelling. It's powerful. It's convincing, and I think that I mean I don't think she has to you know feel inferior to anyone in that role in the horror.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And Austin, you're right. Nev in Wild Things was great. The
Oh,
Craft,
yeah,
some really good stuff. But I agree as the character of Sidney Prescott,
yep,
she other than Laurie Strode, I don't think there's anyone that you could really say is at that same level based
right,
upon overall longevity and body of work, obviously in
true.
these two mega franchises of Scream and Halloween. So you're right. As far as a horror character, I mean, you could put it this way: you ask me right now, and then you ask me tomorrow, I could go either way. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And I wouldn't feel wrong either
that's
way.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
uh
definitely, Sydney has cemented herself as a great, one of the best final girls to ever do it. Um, but I guess one of the final things I want to get into as we wind it down a little bit is that, I'm just hoping now, right
Mhm.
now, like you said, things are looking as good as they have in a long time.
Yeah.
And I just hope that everyone can just have a level head. I'm talking more on the studio side, you know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
keep a level head and let's make this thing happen. Let's
Yeah.
make this thing happen. I mean, you know as well as I do because we talk about movies so much. We cover so many movies, past and present. And there were so many projects that almost could have been that never were.
Yep.
And we're in a situation right now where for a while we did not think we would get Sidney Prescott back in the screen,
Yep.
which is a sad thought, And
Very.
don't get me wrong, I enjoyed a lot of things about 6, and I guess in some way they proved that hey, this core 4 can still, you know, uh lead
Mhm.
a good movie without a Sidney Prescott. And so, maybe they did prove that to some degree. I think they did, but I still missed Sidney. But here we are with the possibility of doing a Scream 7, and we have the opportunity to get Sidney Prescott back. So I'm just hoping
Yeah.
that cooler heads will prevail, that they, unzip their purse strings. You know what I'm saying? And get ready
Yes.
to get ready to pay some money because I'm telling you this is this is a great situation that they could find themselves in. Like they were in trouble, they were drowning, they were
Mhm.
literally drowning, and now
Yeah.
they've got a chance.
They
Scott
do.
Scott said, "Don't forget True Lies and A Fish Called Wanda." Yeah, Fish Called Wanda was great.
Oh yeah.
I loved her in that one. I haven't seen it in a while. I gotta catch that one. Haven't
Remember
watched it.
Freaky Friday? That was I loved her in Freaky Friday too. She was
Yeah.
good.
You
She's
know
been in
what?
tons of stuff, man.
She has. You know what I love? I love Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that with her and Tim Allen?
I forgot about that, bro.
She was
Yeah.
hilarious. Jamie Lee Curtis is funny, not to
Yeah.
mention when you look at things like Knives Out, you know what I mean? Like she listen, and of course when we talk about her, we talk about her as Laurie Strode, but this woman truly has done so much, and obviously just getting the award for Everything Everywhere All at Once, that was great to see her do that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that she gave a little shout out. She gave a little shout out to us,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that were there in the beginning.
That's right.
She's always given credit to John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, and
Mhm.
you got to appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm not sitting here saying,
Yeah.
because I think some people, they sometimes get it a little confused because we enjoy these actors as a character, that they have to be tied to that character or to
Yeah.
that genre forever. And that's not the case. These are artists, you
That's
know.
right.
So, I think some people might look at Jamie Lee Curtis and say, well, she's not a hardcore horror fan. I don't care if she didn't have to be.
It doesn't matter.
She's an actress that
Yeah.
has really helped my horror fandom throughout my life, and I'll always be appreciative of that. But it was
Mhm.
cool her giving a little shout out to the horror fans. So
That's
anyways,
right. Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah. Scott was saying, I wouldn't say she is as good as Jamie, but close. All right.
Okay.
Talking about Nev. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. Troy saying, sorry to be there, but body of work, trading places, anyone. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, yeah. Wow. Look, let me just say, Jamie Lee Curtis is all right. Well, we saw that one movie on Slasher Movie Club where she portrayed that model that had gotten murdered.
Oh
And
my gosh, dude.
what a different type of role that was. I mean, it was
Ooh,
early in her career, but wow,
powerful though.
very
Yeah.
powerful. I mean, she's gorgeous. Let's not belie that issue. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is gorgeous. She's always been gorgeous. So, um, and Troy saying that's sponsored by Knight's Poll of the Nurses. That's right. I did make a nice poll about that. It was funny.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
Nanette saying Sigourney Weaver's from the same decade as Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver is also one of my favorites of all time. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got
Yeah.
Craig in the chat. What's going on, brother? Good to
Hey,
see you. Hope
Craig.
you're doing well. Saying bring Neve back, but don't kill her off. There you go. There you go. I agree.
Definitely.
I absolutely agree. Yes, the Tate murder. That's right. That's right. You got it, Matt. We did that for Slasher Movie Club a couple months ago, and wow, what a powerful movie, like Steven said.
Very powerful, man.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, as we start to wind down here, man, because I know we're heading into late time. We're here 1 o'clock here on the East. But any final thoughts that you have on this Scream situation, or either on the Halloween situation?
I say final thoughts. I think Scream 7's still happening.
Mhm.
They're not going to just stop making it. It's going to happen.
Mhm.
So unlike the Halloween situation, which is much more dicey, I believe we can be very confident Scream 7 will happen.
Mhm.
Now, what will it look like night? That's unknown, but the studio is going to make that movie. I'm telling you, there's going to be a version of that movie that's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we finally heard something, what I consider to be positive on the Neve Campbell front from her own mouth, that to me ups the chances now that we actually might get her in Scream 7. And if you get Neve, you may be able to get the showdown with Stu Macher that I've been wanting. I know you and I have talked about it. The ends link. Get the Stu showdown one final time.
That's right.
Get Patrick Dempsey back,
Mm-hmm.
who was brilliant in Thanksgiving and shows that he's got all of his chops.
Mm-hmm.
And he could absolutely be right. The potential is all there now. If you sign Neve, the dominoes could fall. Legacy dominoes could keep coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I hope happens. And I hope that Guy and James write the script that has Neve at the center, Sydney at the center.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got Gail and Sydney, Kincaid. Kirby's fine. I said this earlier, and I guess I'm kind of repeating myself, but this is I think it all starts with Neve, though. You got to get her first, and then you bring these other pieces in, and you've got basically, even if you don't do the retcon, even if you don't do the direct sequel to 4,
mm-hmm.
you could still bring in the twins to keep continuity with the last 2 movies.
Yes.
But you could focus on the legacy cast, and they would just be on the supporting on the outskirts of the circle.
Right. Yeah.
And then that way you have continuity as well. So
yeah, because at the end of the day, they're still related to Randy. So
bingo, they have a connection to Randy. You're right, and that kind of does keep them viable as supporting cast members. So although I think it's finally time to kill, it's time for Mindy to go.
Did you hear about Jasmine was saying that she didn't have a deal, she hasn't gotten a call yet, and all that type of stuff? So
I saw, and I meant to do a video on that. I just saw that clip yesterday for her being interviewed, and she's flat out said, I don't know if I'm coming back or not. That guy, my phone hasn't rung.
This is crazy stuff, man.
No one's even called her,
bro. It's like, I mean, look, man, I'm not in the movie business, and for all we know, maybe there are some things happening that we have no info on, and so forth and so forth. We might be weeks in the past, so to speak.
Could
like
be.
when we hear about deals that are done, it had already happened weeks before. It never happens when we first hear it.
No.
That being said, it's just weird to hear her say that, because it's like Scream 6 did so well. And it's like you would think there would at least been, a little something saying, hey, we're working on trying to get this thing together. We'll be in touch or something.
She's like,
oh my God,
I have not gotten their call. I've not received a call. I'm like, well, they're clearly not in any major hurry to try to lock her down on her schedule.
I guess not.
So Dude, I wish we could find out. Of course, I'm saying this strictly theoretically because we'll never know.
Mhm.
But if we could be a fly, if we could be Jeff Goldblum, but just a little miniature version, and we could fly into the writing room and like,
Right. I see the script, right? I see it.
and you're not talking,
I see it too, Craven.
and we're like reading it. That's a horrible. I don't know where that came from. It's because it's
Oh
midnight.
my
I'm
God.
tired. But could you imagine seeing the script that James and Guy are writing? What are they writing?
I know.
That's
It's
what I
like,
want to know. Well,
you know, and here's the messed up part about it is there's a part of me that is thinking of it in a positive way, and then there's another part of me is thinking this is gonna be a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? Like,
know.
or in other words, not I don't mean a dumpster fire because, like I said, no movie has been bad,
Right, not
but
yet.
not yet. But I'm just thinking they're not gonna do the justice that we could get in this third movie, of this iteration.
No.
I don't know what they're writing, man. All I know is that we've got a lot of possibilities. We've laid a lot of breadcrumbs. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
I do.
And it's like, bro, this is the time. You gotta, like, that saying, you gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Yes,
Well, the iron is hot, man.
this is it.
So anyways,
Yeah,
I just
no more time for putting stuff off. Night,
right.
you're a DEFCON 4 right now.
Yes.
You have to be like, you know what? We're going to cash in on all those breadcrumbs. James
Right.
Vanderbilt, I don't care that you don't like it.
Right.
It's, I'm saying if I'm Guy Busick, because James doesn't want that. James, I don't
Right.
care. I'm
Right.
co-writer, and
Yes.
this movie is about to be. We are literally. There are people jumping out of the plane without parachutes right now.
Right.
And if we want to try to save the passengers that are left, we need to do this, man.
We do, man.
Oh my
You
god!
know, it's like, hey, you brought Kirby back.
Right?
So look, you know what I always say? 2 + 2 has always been 4. That's all I know.
That's it, man.
That's all I know, man. In the chat as we as we get ready to wind down, Eric's saying, but do you go out with a bang with Sydney and Stu and then close out the franchise forever? Or do you reboot it all again like 10 years from now? Well, I think what you do, you bring Sydney back, you have Stu, you tie up, all of these threads throughout all of these movies, which I think would be cool. Very challenging to do. I will throw that out there. It's going to be very challenging to do. But I'm just saying, just as a horror fan's wish. But yeah, it does tie up everything, and then you just take a little break, just like we did between 4 and 5, just like Halloween is done. Halloween usually takes off a decade or 8 years or whatever. And then come back. But I don't want to see a remake of 96. I've said that
Oh no!
time and time again. Just come back, have a new story, new characters, and a new Ghostface.
Yep.
That's all you need. And that's the advantage of Ghostface, because Ghostface can be anyone. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And there's nothing that says that there can't be another Ghostface killer that is as good or crafty or as evil as a Billy or a Stu or Jill or whoever. So that's
For
what I
sure.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I pretty much with you 100%. You do this movie, I think you could collectively end the Sidney Prescott story with this movie if they do it right, and it would be done in a satisfactory way, in a way
Yes.
that us legacy fans tonight will leave the theater with tears in our eyes, saying
Yes.
goodbye to Sidney, because but she had a proper send off and an end to her story, and we know we're going to miss her and we're going to miss Gail, and this is it. It's over.
That's right.
But
Yep.
then, like you say, give us a couple years, 2-3 years, whatever, maybe 5 years, and then we'll be over. Not, we'll be at peace, and then we start fresh. Okay, guys, new protagonist, new everything. There's no Prescott. There's no Billy Loomis. I mean, they can be a part of the history.
That's right.
That's
The
not
history.
for sure. Like they exist. Like there is a city, but there's no. She's no longer in the. They're no longer in the movies.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely
they can be
agree.
referenced, but that's it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Eric saying, let's see a ghost face killer who can handle a good bow and arrow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do something, a little bit, just something a little different. Have a little bit of a different angle here and there. That'd be nice to keep it fresh.
Sure.
Ginger Ninja says we've got 36 votes, whether or not people want to see Halloween 4 Part 2. And we've got 78% that are saying yes and 22% saying no. All right.
Hey, all right.
That it looks like people are down for
Yeah.
Danielle to come back. Danielle and Ellie. I'd love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to get ready to wind it down here. I know it's getting late. We're after 1 a.m. on the East Coast. And for you guys that were here, first of all, let me just say, and Stephen, you know how we always talk about this. It's just amazing. We've got, we had 30 people just a few minutes ago still here at 1 a.m. That's absolutely fantastic.
Incredible.
And, we know that there are a lot of other things you guys could be doing. There's other streams going on. And for you guys to, spend your time here with us, we really appreciate it.
Definitely.
So thank you all. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to Steven's channel, Craving Something Scary, please do. We got Ginger Ninja in the chat. We got Two Boys in the Scary Pops. We've got Nanette in the chat. We've got so many other people, but all these folks are good friends of ours, great content creators. Ginger Ninja, thank you for helping us with the modding a little bit here. That's been fantastic.
It's awesome.
Please hit the like button if you haven't already. It helps to support us, and we would really appreciate that. And Stephen, brother, thank you so much. Number one, for being here. We always have a blast.
Absolutely, brother. This is the stuff that dreams are made of, man. This is like, absolutely. I mean, it's a no-brainer,
Yeah.
Anytime I can stream with you, man, it's like I say, unless there's something really prohibitive, I'm there with in a heartbeat, man, not even a second thought. So I love spending time with you, man. And, I think that it's time that, whether the chat has fun or not, I know I sure do. I can tell you that. And I think they do too, but
yeah,
it's time that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, no, man, me too. It's always a blast. We have good laughs and always great conversations. So
always, man. And as they say in the airline business at Southwest, we realize you have lots of choices of who you could fly with to your destination tonight. But we appreciate you choosing the Night Watch Zone and Craving Something Scary to fly you to your horror destination tonight and sticking with our live stream.
That was good, man.
We appreciate it. Now, wish I could hand you all a bunch of pretzels and peanuts, but I don't have any of that.
Right. That was good, man. All right. Well, look, guys, we will catch you guys down the road. Again, we'll be back here tomorrow. Actually, no, not tomorrow. I'm sorry. Friday. We're going to have our Friday family day. We're going to start with Steven on his channel for our Friday matinee. And then later on that night, the Watchers Live will be here on the Night Watch Zone. So definitely keep your eyes open. We're going to be having a lot of fun all day. Ginger Ninja saying, when I win the $100 million lotto draw tonight, I will be getting the Night Watch Zone and Craving Something Scary to help write Halloween 4 Part 2. And getting Daniel Harris to sign on the dotted line. Bro. Wouldn't it be crazy if something like that could actually happen, man? That would be, oh my God.
Talking about self-funding, we could have, with that kind of backing. I mean, not all of that I'm talking about, but like, just imagine if Ginger's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay you guys X amount, and then you're going to have $20 million. $25 million to make this fan film.
Right.
Dude, it was seriously, I promise you something. I think I can say this tonight. I'm feeling a little woozy here, but I think I can say this. I think with that kind of budget, the kind of time you and I could take with what Ginger would be paying us, we could relieve our duties and we could actually just focus on the project.
Yep.
Go write this sucker together, and then we could hire Dwight. We could hire, to be the director.
Mhm.
We could do all that. I tell you something. I think honestly, with the story that you and I could come up with together,
Mhm.
I believe that finished product at $25 million budget would be better. I'm not going to say any specifics here, but would be better than some of these studio sequels in the Halloween franchise. I know it's bold.
I could agree with that because we have definitely seen some interesting stuff in the franchise.
We have, man. I think we could do better. And so, Ginger, man, if you win that, you make that happen, I'm in.
There you go. I'm in too, man. No doubt about it at all. All right. All right. And real quick, as we head on out in the net, saying today was a hard day for me and you make me feel better, Knight and Steven and the chat. Well, Nanette, we're glad you got a chance to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And very glad that this helped you out even just a little bit. We always say that, and I know Steven says it on his channel all the time. We're always happy, not only to have the community together, but to share some good times, some camaraderie, some family, some, laughs, sharing our passion of movies and stuff like that. So,
That's right.
We're glad that you were here and we're glad that it helped out a little bit, seriously. And we hope that you have a good night too, Nanette. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon on Instagram. All right.
Absolutely, Nanette.
Yeah. Yeah. Ginger Ninja, I'll be flying over first class.
There you go, man.
That's right.
Get us a suite at, I'm not that expensive. Suite at the Ritz-Carlton somewhere. We'll meet. And
there you go. There you
little
go.
penthouse suite where we'll hole up for 3 weeks night.
There you go.
Hammer the script out in 3 weeks, 7 days a week working together.
It worked for Ty West. So
it worked for Kevin Williamson too.
That's true too.
Yeah, man. You can do a lot in 3 weeks when you're holed up in a hotel.
That's right. I love it. All right, guys. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys, and have a good night.
Good night, guys.